Spokesperson Neil Hamilton.
The Welsh Government has a target to eradicate TB in cattle and wildlife by 2036, and farmers accept that this involves many restrictions upon the way they work and operate, and imposes substantial costs upon them as well, but that's absolutely necessary in order to achieve the objective which we all share. But there's a widespread feeling that whilst farmers are doing a lot to contain and control TB on farms with their cattle, the Welsh Government is not being so energetic in attacking the problem which exists in wildlife, and the results of the culls which have been authorised in Wales were emerged recently in the leaked letters that were the subject of questions from Paul Davies last week, and it emerges that only 5 badgers have been culled since October 2017, and that compares with 10,000 cattle which had to be slaughtered in the year to last September. So there are lots of people who think that the Welsh Government's policy on control in wildlife is simply empty words. I wonder if the Minister will care to update us on now what she intends to do to justify her position.
So I brought forward the Refresh TB Eradication Programme in October 2017, and I'm committed to reporting to this Assembly in April on the first year, once I've got data for the first calendar year. You'll be aware that through this programme we are doing bespoke action plans with herds that are in long-term breakdown, so anything over 18 months. And the 5 badges to which you refer, which I think has been taken totally out of context, relate to those bespoke action plans. Now, it could be, once that plan is set up with the farmer, with their private vet, with the government vet, it could be that wildlife is not part of what it needs to be done in order to eradicate TB from that herd.
I'm rather astonished to hear that, but there it is. The results of the 4-year badger culls, which were all licensed in England, have recently been published, and DEFRA, as a result, is now extending them into 10 other areas in England. The results most near to us in southwest England, in Gloucestershire, the incidence of TB in wildlife has been reduced from 10.4% to 5.6%, and in Somerset from 24% to 12%. So it seems like an overall reduction of 50%. Now, the FUW has said that England's progress makes Wales's strategy look toothless, given that you have a plan on the shelf, as it were, ready to be brought in if you give the go-ahead to extend badger culling, which, of course, would be an animal welfare policy for badgers as well as for cattle, because TB is a terrible disease. Whichever form of animal life has to suffer from it. So surely it's now time, in this particular instance at any rate, to think of following England's example.
No, I will not be following England's example. I've ruled out an England-style badger cull from the day I came into this portfolio, following very detailed discussions with the Chief Veterinary Officer. And I think it's also right that we point out that 94.6% of herds were TB-free at the end of October 2018.